Thanks so much, Autumn. Turning now to immigration. The backlog of immigration cases has reached a record high of 4 million. That's according to new Justice Department data. Some immigration judges are scheduling hearings as far into the future as 2027. This backlog could slow down the Trump administration's desire to quickly deport millions of people. And also on the immigration front, sanctuary cities like Los Angeles have been in the crosshairs of the Trump administration, with officials threatening to remove their federal funding because they don't cooperate with immigration authorities. Against this backdrop, the documentary Roads of Fire offers a timely exploration of the global migration crisis. Directed by Nathaniel Lezra, Roads of Fire delves into the intertwined lives of human smugglers and asylum seekers and the volunteers on the front lines of the crisis. We're honored to have Nathaniel with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Nathaniel, your film captures the struggles immigrants face when they reach cities, at times sanctuary cities like Los Angeles. What role do these cities and the surrounding organizations play, and what would losing funding mean exactly?
The role is critical. These are spaces where the basic premise of this country is lived up to, is about to the best of the abilities of the cities. This is a country of immigrants for immigrants, as stated over the decades by our political leaders. And these cities that offer shelter, they are critical refuges for people who are fleeing geopolitical crises and mortal danger elsewhere. So they're hugely important spaces that people need for the time that an asylum case takes to build, and losing funding would be a disaster. I mean, these are spaces that people are relying on, not because they're here to take advantage of social security nets or safety nets of any kind. They're here because they were in mortal danger elsewhere. And so to be forced to return would be to confront potentially mortal danger in a place like Venezuela or in Afghanistan or a Syria. So it's critical these places maintain their funding and continue to support the asylum seekers.
And Nathaniel, I think something that your film does well, that it shows immigration is really an entire network. It's a network of guides and organizations, even cartels, right, that move people north and help them on their journey. It's just not one person or one thing. How have these networks been impacted by President Trump's orders?
It's a great question. I think that it's a misunderstanding to think that one can confront the immigration quote unquote system, as you've said, and as our film tries to talk about. The asylum process is really about the interaction of a series of different bureaucracies, all of whom are constantly interacting and rely upon one another for information and for data, but also critically don't communicate enough and don't always interact well or effectively. So we need to look at our systems and the various, as you've said, networks of different interconnected parties to really figure out a way to streamline this process. It could be impacted really, really devastatingly by a hostile administration that is looking to diminish by any means necessary the immigrant population in this country. There isn't a coherent system for evaluating the legality of some of the actions of this administration. So at this stage, his strategy is velocity and aggression over legality. So it's incumbent on us and incumbent on NGOs and humanitarian watchdog organizations to take them to task and to hold them accountable as best we can when lines are crossed. And I'm seeing people starting to do that, and NGOs are starting to do that, which is great.
Yeah, velocity has definitely been a hallmark of the administration. I wanted to ask you, when these migrants set out, are they aware of the dangers that they're going to encounter at the Darien Gap, the cartel violence, or even the bureaucratic and legal obstacles that are waiting for them? And if I may add on to that, did any of that inspire you to create this movie, or what inspired you?
There is a fair amount of word of mouth knowledge about the Darien Gap and about what people face on the road. There is very little knowledge about the asylum process and the hurdles here in the country. So, or the financial risks that go into a trip like the characters that you see in the film. So, people flee a place like Caracas, Venezuela, and let's say they leave with 90% of their assets sold at home and as much money in their pocket as humanly possible. Every step of their journey takes a financial toll. Every checkpoint, every border crossing, every interaction with every official, there is a fee, whether it's a bribe or it's a just an important fee that needs to be paid. And then that doesn't even factor in the smugglers themselves, the figures who are clandestine, the cartel figures who get you into the jungle. Throughout the jungle, there are people that need to be bribed and paid. Once you get into Mexico, once you've done your foot journey up through Central America, every step of the road costs money. So by the time people have made it to the States, they have in many, many cases, spend tens of thousands of dollars. They've bankrupted themselves unilaterally. So, and we're talking not people who are necessarily in the grips of extreme poverty even. I mean, people who are an upper middle class family from Caracas, Venezuela, which is a major metropolitan district, city, I should say, engineers, doctors, nurses, people like that will wind up at the border of the United States having lost $20,000 in the process of making it to the country, and that isn't to even factor in legal fees once you're in the States.
And then the challenges that they're going to encounter the moment they get here, as well, trying to assimilate to a new life. Definitely, the challenges abound. But I really thank you for bringing light to all of this and giving us new insight into that journey for immigrants. To learn more about the film, you can visit roadsoffiredoc.com. Nathaniel Lezra, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.